way more complicated than they need to be. So that's technique one. The second thing that you can work on would be idea development. So this is taking ideas and developing them into main body paragraphs. So step one, look at the question, understand the question, and then identify the main ideas. So for this person, focus on their careers, idea number one, and have more time for themselves, idea number two. So there's two benefits, two advantages here. And then what you do is you do not look at the main body. So you just identify those two main ideas. And then what you could do on this blank piece of paper, you could pick one. So for example, you could write an explanation, you could write an example, and then you could compare that with what the student has done in this essay. So here, focus on the careers. This is because they have less responsibility and distractions in their lives compared to the couples that have a child. So if it's the same, then you're probably on the right track, but you could also make this better. You might think, well, I could maybe explain this a little bit more. Again, you're not looking for exact matches. What you're doing is thinking about what they have done and what you have done. And this is just one essay. You might look at 5, 6, 7 other essays for this question and then look at all of the explanations and compare those with your explanations, compare those with your examples, and then that's going to help you develop your own. The next thing you can work on is structure. So what you can do is read the question, read the whole essay, and then think about the structure that they used. So for example, this is their introduction, this is their main body paragraph 1, this is their main body paragraph 2, and this is their conclusion. So what we're going to do here is discuss both views and give your own opinion. This is the type of question that we're talking about here. So they're using this 4-paragraph structure, but then within each paragraph, what are they doing? So here in the first sentence, what they have done is they have paraphrased the question. They have given their opinion here. They've talked about the first point here. And they've given the reason for the latter point here. So what you could do is look for more discuss both views essays. For example, this one, and you could compare them. So are they using a similar structure here? Well, seems like they actually are. They've paraphrased the question in the first sentence here. They've given their opinion and they've said why they believe that here. They are slightly different, but again, if you look at 7, 8, 9, 10 of those, you'll be able to see similar structures. And then that is going to help you write your own structure. So what you could do is actually go through them all if you wanted, analyze the structures, and then look at all of the differences between the different types of essays. So you could go and look at, for example, here we have a causes and solutions essay. Where do they put the causes? Where do they put the solutions? What do they put in their conclusion? Are there any similarities between the different students answering this same question? And you'll start to learn the different structures and then use them yourself. It's a great way to actually learn structures rather than just looking at them. As if you give students just a bunch of structures, they tend not to be able to use them on test day. But if you do it this way, it kind of internalizes it a lot better and they're able to use them rather than memorize them. Okay, so when you're on this page, what you want to do is scroll down. There's a lot of information on this page, so keep scrolling until you get to here, sample essays. Now we have a lot of different options here. Continue to watch the video and I'm going to show you which one to click in step 3. The next thing you could do is work on your coherence and cohesion by identifying linking words or cohesive devices. Some people call them cohesive devices, some people call them linking words. So for example, with this one, you could identify that there are only really 4 linking words or cohesive devices here. In other words, for example, for instance, and in conclusion. If you were to look at another 10 band 7, 8, and 9 real essays, and you only seen linking words are used very sparingly, there are not that many, then that would be a clear indication that that's what you should do. Most of these essays are not going to have lots and lots and lots of linking words in them, because lots and lots and lots of linking words actually lower your score. They don't increase it. Another thing that you could do is think about why they used each cohesive device. So for example, why did they use that? Well, they were giving an example. Did they use it correctly? Well, in this instance, they seem to have. That is helping you understand, okay, if I'm giving an example, that's what I should use. Or you might identify some linking words that they used incorrectly. That is going to help you improve, because identifying other people's mistakes is helping you improve your knowledge and your use of linking words as well. Remember, these are real essays, which means that they have mistakes in them. They are not perfect. Perfect essays are not actually going to help you as much as real students that are at your level and have got the scores that you need. And that brings us on to number 5, which is identify grammar mistakes. As I've just said, one of the best ways to improve is to identify other people's mistakes. So what you would do is you would go through and highlight any mistakes that they have made. So for example, this one, you could write here, this is an article mistake. Here's another article mistake. So by identifying these mistakes and correcting them, you can think about the rules of articles, and your knowledge and your ability to use them correctly will improve. Not just articles, but any mistakes. So identify the mistakes and then think about why those mistakes were made, or categorize the mistakes into, is it a preposition mistake, an article mistake, a punctuation mistake, and then you will improve too. The 6th thing you can do is also related to grammar, and thinking about the different grammatical structures and tenses that were used in the essay and why they were used. So for example, if we take this essay, obtaining this type of information in most cases means breaking the law. Why did they use obtaining ing and breaking ing? Rather than, furthermore, to obtain this information in most cases means to break the law. And this will force you to think about whether this is correct or incorrect. If you think that it is incorrect, what is a better way to use it, and why do you think that? Or if it's correct, why did they use that? Here's another one. However, not only are paparazzi hired to invade properties belonging to politicians to take photos without their permission, but also, not only, but also. What does that not only, but also grammatical structure allow this student to do? Why did they choose this grammatical structure? What were they able to do? Is it correct? Could you use this grammatical structure in your essay? Again, not copying it, not blindly copying this and inserting it into your essay, but adding tools to your toolbox. The more tools that you have in your toolbox, grammatically and for vocabulary, then the better able you are able to build your essay on test day yourself. Number 8 is vocabulary and improving the range of your vocabulary. And you can do that simply by reading the question, reading the essay, and identifying any unknown vocabulary or collocations or phrases that you're unsure about. You're not 100% sure what they mean or how to use them in a sentence. So for example, you might see the collocation, discover their talents. What does that mean, to discover their talents? Here's another one, potential talents. What's the difference between discovering your talent and a potential talent? What does potential mean? What does potential talent as a collocation actually mean? So you would note down those words or phrases or collocations, and then you would guess the meaning from the context. So you would read the whole sentence, read the whole paragraph, and try and guess what that word means. That is going to help with your reading skills. It's going to help you identify and understand unknown words in the reading test, and it will also help you improve your vocabulary, because you can take those new words or phrases, put them into a vocabulary book, add all the new information like the meaning, the synonyms, the example sentences, And then after a while, if you do this, you're going to have a massive bank of new words and new phrases. And then if you review those and use those in your own essays, then you're improving your ability to write essays. Another thing you could do with vocabulary, number 9, is identify any vocabulary errors. So for example, in this essay, if we look at this sentence, recently the pictures of a famous politician of Milan while playing football with local children were published in many newspapers, and he instantly became famous. So there's a problem here because it's saying a famous person became famous. Well, they were already famous. So either there is a meaning error here with this word, or we need to change this word to something different. Another thing that you could do is look for repetition. Are there words that are maybe repeated a few many times, and then you could try and change it to a synonym that means the same thing but has a different word that means the same thing. And last but not least, number 10, what you can do is look at the question, write the whole essay, and then compare your essays, compare everything with what the students have done. But I wouldn't recommend doing that right away. What I would recommend doing is use 1 or 2 of the other 9 techniques, work on your weaknesses, and then once you are more confident, then you can write the whole essay and then compare it with what the other students have done. But please, please, please don't think that if your essay is different, that it's wrong. There are hundreds of different ways that you can write a Band 7 or a Band 8 essay. It is not mathematics. It is not, there's only one answer to the question. So don't look at these essays and think that you're on the wrong track just because yours are different. What you're looking for is, are the main things, like the ideas, are they relevant? Is the structure similar? Did you develop your ideas in a similar way? If you focus on those big things, then your essays will be fine and you will really